Welcome back, everybody. Here's the problem. You're currently losing six figures, multi six figures in revenue because you're selling to the masses instead of selling to your premium buyer. The core difference between a 5K sale and a 50K sale is not the product. It is the positioning of the offer. If you're selling labor to the masses, when you could be selling certainty to the elite, to the premium buyers, you are missing out on a massive, massive boost in revenue for your business. And this is because of something I like to call the relatability tax. The friendly, approachable, I'm just like you brand and messaging is a financial bottleneck for a personal brand, service-based business, for a coaching business, consulting business. It positions you as a peer and not a premium authority, and that's a problem. Your ideal client, the person who is ready and willing and able to invest thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in your work, is not looking for a friend. They're not looking for a peer. They're looking for a definitive high status leader in your industry. And there's a difference in how the masses, the normal buyers move and how the premium buyer moves. And if you are following a lot of the advice that a lot of business mentors have given over the years, you're probably appealing more to the average buyer and not the premium buyer, because again, there's a difference in how they move. Different things activate them to buy. Different things capture their attention in the first place. The premium buyer has different problems than a normal buyer. They're thinking about different things when they're making their buying decisions. And even if you price for a premium buyer and get your messaging quote unquote correct, if you're not activating the premium buyer in your content and in your sales process, you're going to be activating the wrong person for the offer. And they're going to take one look at that premium pricing and go, no, thanks. And here's some signs that you're doing this. If your prospects are really engaging heavily with your content, they're expressing excitement, they're going, OMG, I love this. They're in your DMs, chatting you up. But if they see your price and they immediately say no thanks or ask for super extended payment plans or discounts, that's a sign that you're appealing to not a premium buyer, but rather someone who is a part of the masses. They're not debating the value of your offer. They're just sticker shocked because your overall brand positioning did not prepare them for a premium investment. And they're not the person who is positioned to make that investment in the first place. Another sign that you're appealing to more mass market or normal buyers is that they're debating the necessity of your offer in the first place. Your sales calls or your application responses are sort of dominated by people asking or debating whether they need your help or debating the efficacy of your methods. Premium buyers are already convinced that their problem exists. They're only looking at the fit of the vendor, the fit of the coach, the service provider, the consultant. They're already convinced that they're going to spend money to solve this problem. They're not debating whether to spend, they're debating who to spend with. You'll also know that you're doing this if you get a lot of boundary crossing with your clients. If prospects, your clients are asking for long, exhaustive lists of deliverables, what's included in your offer. They're demanding more one-on-one access. They try to negotiate extra time or attention with you. They're constantly stomping the boundaries of your containers. And they're doing this because they're measuring the value of the container of the offer by the quantity of the labor that they can extract from it, not the certainty and quality and value of the outcome. So if you've ever had those clients who feel like they have to squeeze every drop of life out of your container or service, you will know. And the reason is the mass market buys differently from the premium buyer. They buy checklist items and perceived effort. They want a long list of deliverables and time-consuming support because they measure the value of the offer by the quantity of the labor that you are putting into it. That is what the normal mass market buyer does. And this mindset is not only exhausting for you and brings in the most draining, boundary-stomping clients, it's also the antithesis of being able to scale your business. You cannot scale a business that's built on you selling your time and your labor and your energy to clients in exchange for a price. What turns the mass market buyers on are things like relatability turns them on. They want to see your personal struggle. They want to see your vulnerability. They want to see your hot mess moments because it lowers the bar for them and it makes the goal feel achievable. They're not always interested in making change. People who respond to relatable content often want to just feel validated in their current circumstances, not called to something higher. They're looking for something that says it's okay to be where you are now, and not something that challenges them to actually do the work to get what they want. They're looking for relatability because they're looking for validation. A list of deliverables turns the mass market buyer all the way on. They want to know exactly what steps you're going to take, not what they're going to get, what you are going to take, what you're going to do, how many calls, how many documents they're going to receive, because they're validating the price against the quantity of your input, not what they're going to get out, not the value of the outcome. They're measuring how much are you putting into it, and I'm going to measure the price against that. Hand-holding turns them on. They want to know that they're going to receive continuous personal support, one-on-one all day long. They want you. They don't want anybody from your team because they're buying effort, not self-leadership, not an identity shift, not an outcome. They're buying effort and labor. If you're a service provider, they're not buying the outcome, they're buying your time. Now, premium buyers, on the other hand, act completely differently. They're looking at different things when they're making buying decisions. They buy speed, they buy frictionless leverage. Their core focus is maximizing the result, the outcome, in the fastest possible time with the least amount of effort on their part. And they will invest to do that. Relatability and vulnerability turns them off. When they see your personal struggle, especially one that's in progress, one that's currently happening, they don't see someone who can lead them to where they're going or get them the outcome that they're looking for. They're vetting a vendor for stability and certainty, not emotional connection. Do they need to like you? Sure. They're going to spend, 3, 6, 12 months with you. Of course, they need to like you as a person. But there's other ways to do that other than presenting yourself as relatable, I'm just like you. Excessive detail turns the premium buyer off. A long checklist of deliverables is a red flag because it signals complexity and time commitment. They're paying you to handle the complexity, not to give them more work, not to give them a to-do list. Emotional selling turns them off. They may be emotional buyers in that they need to feel an emotional pull in order to say yes, but they'll always back that up with logic. They need data, structure, a clear path. They're making a strategic investment. They're not an emotional peer-to-peer purchaser. It's like, imagine you're in a new relationship and the person is coming on super strong, telling you all the reasons they would be so great. They're perfect for you. They love you so much, etc., etc. Turn off. Ew. The unearned familiarity is a huge turn off. Don't pretend we're already there. Don't pretend that is our relationship. Show me why we should work together to get to that place, right? The very things the masses demand as proof of your value, your relatability, your vulnerability, your detailed checklist, what they're going to get, how many hours of your time they're buying, are the exact things that turn premium buyers off. They signal low value, high effort, peer to the premium buyer, and it turns them off. However, there are some wonderful things that turn the premium buyers on. Proprietary intellectual property turns them on. They want to see your named, branded methodology. They want to see that you have something special, something concrete, something repeatable, intellectual property, and unique systems. That's what they're buying, not your time. Frictionless efficiency turns them on. The fastest path to the result turns them all the way on. Certainty turns the premium buyer on. The language of certainty and inevitability. They want to hear that the outcome is a foregone conclusion, not a possibility, not maybe someday. They want to know that if I enter this space with you, that's the outcome I'm getting. Your language has to communicate that certainty. They're also turned on by exclusivity and status. They're motivated by being a part of an elite tier, right? They don't want to be like everybody else. That's the point. They are the premium buyer. The exclusivity, the high price tag are proof that the offer is reserved for people who are operating at their level. You have to stop justifying your price with your time. Instead, you have to justify your pricing with the level and inevitability of the outcome and the speed of the transformation, the quality and speed of the transformation. And your sales process plays into this as well. Your sales process is not there to convince people to need you. It is to vet your prospects if you are selling to premium buyers. And let me clarify, not everyone needs to sell to premium buyers. But many of my clients do want to sell to premium buyers because they want to do very deep work with few high ticket buyers, and they want to then expand their offers later to something that's a little more scalable, but still in that premium realm. So your sales process is not there to convince everybody to need you. You're protecting the quality of your spaces and the environment of your client experience through your sales process. You should walk into it assuming that people want to be there. Walk into it assuming that people want to pay you that amount, and your job is to determine if the people are a good fit. A sales process that's catered to an average buyer is going to really focus on convincing a prospect that their problem is real and that they need to invest right now. This is where you see fake urgency, fake scarcity, really pushy bro sales tactics, and they work on some people. But it's a high pressure sales environment that turns a premium buyer off and attracts the wrong people into your world. Who does it attract? People who need convincing. If you spend all of your time convincing, that's who you're going to get. All of a sudden, all of your conversations become about you convincing your audience that investing is going to solve a problem that they didn't even know they had or they weren't even thinking about. It's draining. It's like trying to swim upstream for every single sale because you're trying to overcome the additional objection of, do I even need this? And if they don't already recognize their need for it, it will take them more time to want to invest because they weren't even thinking that they needed your solution. They aren't ready to invest to fulfill a need that they weren't even aware of 5 minutes ago. And the people who were already convinced to spend, who already know they need the solution, who are just looking for the right person, the premium buyers are tuning that out because that convincing content is not for them. They don't need to be convinced, so they're not even engaging with that content to begin with. Premium buyers are already convinced of their high value, nuanced, specific problem. They're already seeking a definitive solution, right? They don't need you to sell them on the problem. They need you to sell them on your solution and the certainty of it. Your job is not to convince them, but to prove that you are the no-brainer, definitive solution who offers the most aligned path for them. Your application process, your onboarding, your exclusivity has to be designed to attract and vet the perfect fit client only to ensure that they're the right person for the offer, right? You're protecting the integrity and the results of your exclusive space. On top of all of this, your brand is a strategic filter, right? Brand is not random. It's not randomly chosen based on what colors you like and what photography style resonates with you. Every piece of communication needs to be designed for the premium buyer if you are selling to premium buyers, including your brand identity. Your brand identity has to feel unique, higher end, slightly unattainable perhaps. It acts as a strategic filter that automatically repels the low ticket browsers, the people who are not going to be ready to pay your premium prices. If your brand looks like everybody else's, you're going to have to be priced like everybody else because you're going to be compared to everybody else. And the offer itself communicates to the buyer, right? Which one feels more premium? I'll use this as an example because it's a great one. Which one feels more premium? The $200 leather bag from Amazon with 4.6 stars and 3,000 reviews, or the Hermes Birkin? They're both leather bags. They have the same dimensions. They have the same amount of room inside. They can both hold your wallet and your cell phone. Same function, very different buyers. Hermes doesn't have to worry about the Amazon bag buyers flooding their stores and overwhelming their salespeople. The brand and the offer communicate who it's for. Birkin buyers, vice versa, are not shopping on Amazon for a bag. In fact, you can't even walk in off the street and buy a Birkin. You have to be offered one. Hermes decides who gets to wear their bags, and the supply is much lower than the demand. Same thing goes with your offers for premium buyers. You have to structure your offer and availability to reflect the value of the transformation. Less access, fewer spots, higher price. You're selling a movement and an identity, not a service. The brand and offers are not arbitrary. They are filters for the buyer that you want to have. So here's the choice that you have. You can decide who you want to sell to. You don't have to sell to premium buyers. And if you're not certain that you can deliver certain results within certain parameters for certain price points for that premium buyer, I would recommend not doing it. Premium buyers expect premium solutions, and if you can't deliver one, that's not for you. But if you can, premium buyers are some of the most dreamy clients you will ever have. They're not trying to extract every drop of effort out of every single container. They pay quickly, they pay on time, they pay premium prices. They get amazing results because they commit to the work. So you can continue selling labor and chasing the masses if that's what you want to do. It's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a certain type of offer, a certain type of sales environment, and a certain type of buyer. Or you can reposition yourself, your business, to sell certainty and attract elite buyers. And this shift is going to require more than a tactical change. It's going to require an identity shift on your part and an architectural upgrade within your business. The business has to change on the interior to serve these types of buyers within these types of containers. You need the space and the mentorship to design a brand that's truly unrelatable and a sales process that attracts and selects your clients, not convinces. So if you're ready to stop being a peer, finally assume the identity of the high status leader, the market is willing to pay big prices, the next step is going to be your application to my Unrelatable Mastermind. We are 25% of the way full for all of 2026. The time for debate is over. If you want to attract and select your premium buyers in the new year, the application for the mastermind is in the show notes. I hope to see you inside the Unrelatable Mastermind, and I can't wait to learn more about you, and I'll talk to you soon.